Oh, hi everyone. How are you? I hope you're all well. I'm back from the Dakotas. North Dakota last week and South Dakota this week, but back home all in between. And then Wisconsin the week before. I'm just everywhere in the Midwest. I'm all over. And my husband and I really struggled when we were first married. I have six children. My three oldest are from my first husband. My first husband is an amazing father in that he really raised my sons well, and he was very very um, amazing, as was his family with my older children. So when I got remarried and I started having really significant health issues after the birth of my fourth and then fifth and sixth children, I gave birth to my three youngest in 2 days less than 1 year. So I gave birth to three babies in 363 days. And in I'll explain it all in more detail at some point. But the point is that I was in acute kidney failure. I was in the hospital. So he was in the Navy, and he would be at sea for as long as they would keep him. It was post 9/11. Wouldn't tell us how long, or even if our husbands would come home or wives, and I would go to the point of exhaustion because I had no help, anywhere or any family to speak of, when I wouldn't inflict my um, overwhelming situation on any innocent person. So I would, you know, go 10 days or so without bathing, barely ate. Um, my youngest has cerebral palsy, and all three of them were premature. Um, Twins, were born. And okay, so my fourth son turned one 2 days after the twins were born. So for one complete day out of the year, my youngest three are all the same age. So um, I didn't eat. I couldn't bathe. And I was terribly ill. I could not get healthy. I had the nephrostomy for 4 months with my fourth pregnancy, and then when I was given birth control and told never ever to get pregnant again because I had the nephrostomy and everything, they gave me the birth control pill. And as my husband was at sea, he came home for a quick visit. Well, quickie, blah 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 blah. Birth control backfired, or it was actually the antibiotics that I was on that made the birth control not work, even though it was supposed to be one that worked. Somehow it backfired, and I ended up pregnant with twins when my baby was just a baby, and he was a preemie baby, so he was 3 months old, but he was actually only what would be 2 months old, corrected, and I was pregnant with twins. It was a mess, and just had that nephrostomy out and another surgery, and I was so sick. So my husband would come home, and then um, now my house would be immaculate, and those kids would have all their breathing treatments and everything, and every single thing would be done right. But he'd take one look at me and load me up to the emergency room, and I'd get admitted, um, and we'd let me stay in the hospital for as long as I needed to get my fluids back up and everything, and basically have my oil changed, if you will, kind of get a tune up. And he might be able to take 1 or 2 extra days of leave as I was in the hospital and whatnot. But um, at one point, the Navy, just said, "Hey, there's some great foster homes through the United Way. You might want to just go ahead and put the kids in there so that husband can go back to sea and I can stay in the hospital." Oh, thank you. That military support. You know how it is. But we struggled, and money. Oh, money. Um, I learned to go without, and I learned to, really, really only eat um, enough to stay alive so that I wouldn't cost anything to anybody. And we did it. I got every single thing that the kids needed and our family needed from garage sales, and I would, you know, I'd get strollers. I'd find strollers that looked horrible that people would throw out, and I would, you know, take them right down to the screws. And sometimes I would take the screws off, and I'd soak all the screws in Coca-Cola to get all the rust off of them, and shine those strollers all up and everything, and sell them for a profit. Every single thing that the kids need. So I had to have three bassinets, three cribs, three high chairs, three so many diapers, and they all had to be on the special formula. Expensive Nutromogen, and so I didn't buy anything new. I did everything, and my kids looked the best dressed every time they were. I kept them in occupational speech and physical therapy 2 to 3 times a week until they were 3 years of age, especially with my youngest to optimize his potential because he had a stroke at birth. And I would sometimes go, you know, I would bleed all over the waiting room chairs because I couldn't stop bleeding after the twins. They were a section, but my my uterus was just mad. It was mad at how much it had to do, and it was angry, and I had a big fibroid, and it was such a mess. There was to be blood all over the waiting room, and so they started like putting down like this like waterproof pad for me because I kept having to clean up the chairs and stuff, and then they were nice enough to let me lay down like on an activity mat sometimes, just kind of in the corner, and but you know what? I never once left my kids in the bathroom. I mean, in the car or anything. I remembered them every single time. I never once. And I also have Crohn's disease, so I never once, even in my emergencies with bleeding and everything else, I swear to God, I put one kid in my teeth like a cat, and then I held the two baby carriers in one arm and kind of like mushed them all together and ran into the McDonald's bathrooms and stuff. I mean, three babies right there, and it's like, okay, if I was gonna explode, I was gonna explode. It's just a mess. Okay, this is honestly my life, and that's how I just absolutely, tore and shredded my rotator cuff. Because the strollers for the multiples are wonderful looking, but they are heavy AF. And so I had to have the triple wide. And then the one time when my son with cerebral palsy, was turning blue and he had severe pneumonia. I'm rushing him into the hospital. Actually, I went to the doctor first. That's how it was. I was rushing him into the doctor's office, and I've got vomit all over me and everything. I'm trying, and the frickin' stroller would not fit through the effing doors, and I already had them out of their carriers and everything. Oh my God! And the tech, standing there calling my name. She just kept saying the name over and over. And I'm like trying to like push the big honking triple stroller sideways and forwards and upside down and everything to get it. And she just keeps saying my name and staring directly at me. So I said, give up, dump the stroller, and grab all three kids in one fell scoop. I'm like, okay, this one's turning blue. Um, oh, that was my life. And date night, yeah, right. Dates, no, didn't happen. Ultimately, when I started being healthy a little bit again, and I wanted to consider finishing law school, UNLV gave me a hell of a package, and I was going to close in the rest of my education and come out with a degree. I would graduate. I was able to take all my education they offered me. So my home state was putting everything in the 4 years, and I was going to have to wait. The UNLV put together this package where they would have it because they were considering my work, and someday I'll explain all that to you. They did everything, and they had it compressed so that it would take me 3 years to finish law school and come out with a specialization in women's studies as well. It was just awesome. So, on a wing and a prayer, we sold the house and moved down to Vegas and thought, we can never go out. We can never afford a babysitter or anything. But we can look at the pretty places where people go, and I took those kids everywhere during the day. Everywhere, because think of Vegas. Think of all the beautiful things you see, all of the art and everything. Well, in the day, that's all empty. And so I let the kids just see everything. And they would, now they can watch like Ocean's 11 or any movie, and they're like, that casino has this one has this one has that. So, way, we never could go out. Now that all of the kids are grown and the twins are going to be 20 soon, they're my youngest. Um, Years ago, was it 3 years ago, we started saying we don't know who we are. So I think what our three that'd be our 18th year of marriage. We were just like, we really didn't know who we were as a couple or anything, and we started. There was like a really good deal on appetizers at this one local restaurant on Thursdays, and so we were like, let's do that, Thursday night, and then it became a thing. And then when I went back to work before the pandemic, for a while, I was taking Thursdays off, and he'd take Thursdays off, and Thursdays was our day, and it started working. So we had date night. So for the last 3 years, we've had every single Thursday as our date night. And it's worked amazing for our marriage because we got to come back together as a couple. We got our finances back on track, or off track, whatever they are. And, we're able to really start planning the next chapter of our lives. And when we had other discussions that we didn't hear each other normally, we would save those discussions until we were sitting across from each other and could look at each other with no interruptions. And, for me, that takes a notebook because I have to remember what I'm going to say. And I'm very visual. I have to write everything out. But that improved our communication style 100 times. So if I had to live my life over again, or if I can impart any wisdom into anybody who's married or going to be married, please, once a week, set aside a date night. If you are like I was, where we could not afford anything, you've got to be creative, and it has to be that time. Then one night a week, when the kids are in bed, then you sit down and you make a charcuterie board. Did I say that right? Did I say charcuterie? Is that how you say it? With the salami and the cheese and everything, or you say charcuterie? Where you make the cheese and the salami and stuff, and you have the lights down, you have candles, whatever it is, even if it has to be in your house, and it's that time where you commit to each other as a couple. Marriage is a long-term investment. I was married for 9 years, but together for 13 years with my first husband. So 13 years together and 3 children. And I've been remarried now for, it's 2000, the hell? Okay, we've been together over 22 years. Married for 21? Married for 21. I guess that's what, yeah. Sorry, I misspoke earlier when I was thinking, sometimes it feels like an eternity, After just spending a weekend together, we're like, oh, get the hell away from me. But I can say that my first marriage would have never worked, no matter how much I continued to invest in it, and it probably never should have, you know, been more than a couple of years, but it was. Um, and each, it seems like every 10 years, your relationship will really redefine itself. It's always changing and evolving. It's always fluid, if you will. And so, really investing that time in each other really does pay off. So, as the kids graduated, and the pandemic was interesting, having us all in our pajamas. You got three teenagers who hated getting up for school anyway, having the time of their lives, never having to get out of their pajamas, and me who never gets out of her pajamas anyway. And I got laid off I got laid off in April of the pandemic, so right in the beginning of it. And we had a really good time through the pandemic. Now, when I got COVID, that's a whole nother story. We won't talk about that. Um, but we started coming back together as a couple. The kids were old enough that we could go out, once a week. And then, now we do that, and sometimes we go out to really nice dinners, and sometimes it's just, cheap appetizers. It depends on, how the budget's going for that month, that week. And what we've now been able to do is take long weekends and do, that starting basically, as soon as he's off Wednesday afternoon, then be together Wednesday through Sunday. And sometimes it's a staycation and we just, focus on activities together for that 5-day period, and it's been really nice, really, really nice. And so now that we can do these things, and I am able to do these things, that I know that there's people out there that can't, and there's moms that would like to go to a concert and can't. I film so much of concerts and I put them up here so that if you are where I was, thinking that you're never going to get another good shower, or you're never going to eat a meal that is actually hot again, know that it does get better. Well, it gets different. It gets different for a long time. But then they go off and they won't hug you anymore. You have to like chase them, and like then they're gone and you're like, "Wait, wait, wait. I I just need like just a little more time. Just come back. Don't blink," as they say. Don't blink. Go so fast. But I do this with my concerts, so those are there for you guys to see, because I do feel so grateful for the opportunities that I have right now and being able to go to concerts. Um, as there were so many years we never went out. So when you see me putting up the music, that's me. That's me taking that film. That's me singing along. I do apologize if you kind of. Sometimes I feel like I have to, harmonize or hold that note for the performer. So you might get that when you hear it, but I'll be uploading last week. I saw. You remember how hot Sebastian Bach was in the 80s? Well, he's changed just a little bit. But when he's up there on that stage, he is every bit as hot as he was in the 80s, and he freaking rocked. And last weekend was Sebastian Bach. And the weekend before, we were out of town for my birthday and a concert, and I was fine my birthday night. And then I started just getting really sick. I have chronic fatigue, Crohn's, fibro, chronic pain, all of that stuff, right? So I can be on vacation and I can be just doing fine. And then I just, boom, I'll think I need a nap and I become, sleeping beauty and there's no waking me up. It's not like that. I'm not doing anything weird or mixing any of that. I'm not doing a feral. It's just that the physical exhaustion and dehydration, things just get to me, and I'll just need to just lay down and have my Gatorade and just my body has to sleep. Um, and so I didn't get to go to the concert. My husband went and had a great time by himself. And sometimes that's what I want because I I often I don't like people. I I don't mind an audience. I despise a crowd. The haters are going to love that, right? Doesn't that sound like something that Marilyn Monroe would have said? I bet you she did. I bet you she did say it. If I look it up. So, last night, I saw Casey Ballerini, and I saw her a couple months ago. But she's just a beautiful girl. I think she's really tall, so she really pulls off the cutest little outfits, but just an amazing talent. And she was with Kenny Chesney of I think My Tractor Sexy. They were really good. And we were in row 3. Oh, I got some good stuff, and I got a lot of gratuitous Kenny Chesney butt pictures for you all. They're all in there in the videos. So as I upload all of that, I hope you like them. And then it pleases me that I've been asked to provide pictures of the lilac tree when it blooms because I have this tree that I stock that makes the most beautiful lilacs. Huge old thing across from this old graveyard. I love this old graveyard. I love old graveyards. Again, you find the best listeners there. Haha. But I swipe a lilac or two from it, and it's on a busy road. And, it's like, look, the city comes and trims it, and then it's all over the ground, and they don't, come on. I'm just trimming it a little. Tried to propagate it with no luck, but this might be my year. And then there's this place I go up. It's this mansion, Glensheen Mansion. Oh, have you guys ever heard of the Glensheen murder? I'll have to tell you guys about that. I don't know, do an episode about that. But it's up in Lake Superior, and they think that they have the longest, their lilac, their lilacs bloom the longest in the state, they think, and I think they do, and they have both white and purple lilacs. So I'll put up many pictures of lilacs because somebody asked me to in here, and I'm going to be tickled to provide you with those things. If you ever want pictures of anything out here in the Midwest or anything, just let me know. I'll be happy to oblige. I go all over, and I really like taking pictures, and I love showing you guys anything you'd like to talk about or see pictures of. I love to do that, so let me know. Now, without further ado, without further dog do, please introduce yourself to my hater on my community page. She has a couple of accounts that she comes at me for, and she's the main one who dogs on me about my voice. Now, I will say that I do have really severe allergies. I am actually technically 100%, it's a diagnosis, it is true. I have an allergy to heat itself. So if I get a fever, I can go into anaphylaxis. If I exercise and I've been around ragweed in the same 24 hours, I will go into anaphylactic shock. I have to be very careful about doing anything. That's why I'm fat, because it could kill me if I exercise. But no, my doctor has now determined that fat ass needs to lose some weight, that the risk of the anaphylaxis is less than fat. The pandemic has been tough on a lot of us, and especially on my fat ass. Anyway, anywho, I have severe allergies. So I have to take antihistamines throughout the day, every day. I have my EpiPens everywhere, usually within arm's reach of anywhere I'll be in the house or car. So you'll hear me get really stuffed up. So like when there's smog outside or anything like that, you'll hear me be stuffed up nasally. I apologize. So I don't know if it's that she really rags on me about or what it is. I I was thinking it was several different people, but as I started noticing the same really horrible grammar and misspellings, I think that sometimes she uses text to speech, so you can't tell. But then when you go and you look, like I say, I put her on. She wanted a little attention. She keeps saying that she's never gonna look at my channel again, and she's leaving, and she unsubbed, and blah 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 blah. And get the fuck off! I am done with you. Go away. But I like I say, when you got somebody just ragging on you on the internet, you don't know who they are. And when it's in person, you can be like, oh my God, look at you. What the hell is your problem? You don't always have that opportunity on the internet, but I do. So when I get an insult, sometimes I'll leave them. Sometimes I'll leave them for a few days. A lot of times I'll delete them. And it's not just here. I mean, I get my fair shares of emails because I want my email to be open. I love the one-on-one relationships that I have with so many of you. But with that I open myself up to people knowing my email address, and I get a lot of hate and a lot of attempts to hack into my email, etc., etc. But as far as I can tell, she's not produced any content, so I don't know what her voice is. Oh, she has done a couple of videos. Maybe I should go there and see what her voice is like. Maybe I should. Maybe I'll do that. Let's see. Look at all the nice things you guys say. You guys are so lovely to me. I love you all so much. You guys are awesome. Oh, it's this one. Here we go. Okay. So she put here the WTAF, and then she put something. Oh yeah, she buried it. She tried to bury the turd. She tries to do that. Let me see. Did she do it here? Um, she's a real turd dropper. Let's see here. Christine Elizabeth. Oh, that poor cat. I wish that. And then, so her profile picture is this. I don't know what that is. I mean, I think my profile picture is a little better. I mean, she comes after me about my horrible videos and everything else, as you guys have seen, and I mean, you look at this. Some filmmakers are interentists. What is interents? What is that? Some filmmakers are interentists of war movies, comma, and then capital, and comedy, comedie, movies. So some filmmakers are in internats of war movies and comedy movies. But this, let's see what we got here. Let's see here. Let's see your channel. Let's see, because obviously you want to keep talking about how wonderful you are. And why is that not? Hello, hello. Let me see here. Why is that not? Let me see. About. Oh, there we are. Okay. But this production is basically war movies. Part 1 and Part 2 movies, comma. Comedy movies, COMEDIE movies, and short films. Enjoy all movies, period. And then lowercase, please. Please subscribe, SUBSRIBE. Leave a comment, COMMET, and like videos. Well, you've been practicing at this since October 16th, 2011. You have 18 views. And your description of you is this: some filmmakers are interested of war movies and comedy movies, but this production is basically a war movies, part 1 and part 2 movies, comedy movies, and short films. Enjoy all movies. Please subscribe, leave a comment, and like videos. What's a comet? COMMET. Is that like something shooting in the star? What the, or do you mean the stuff like to scrub your tub? I don't even know. And then, because obviously she is like such a better creator than me with her 18 views, and she's been at this since 2011. I mean, I've only been at this a year, so I'm sorry I suck, Christine Elizabeth, and you hate my voice so much. And in her other thing too, what did she say? You know, she asked if I'm even a person or if I'm a Disney character. She says all these things about my voice. Stupid ass. Let me see here. Let's see her playlists. Oh, playlists. Oh, she's got some playlists. Okay. All right. She's got some playlists. All right. Animal videos. Favorite videos. Okay. Save playlists. Oh, roasting true crime. And Lou. Huh. Roasting true crime. And then let's see. Home shorts. Oh, her videos, because she's such a better creator than me. I put her stuff on my community page so you can see. So let's see. Let me see here. Oh, so this is what she looks like. I mean, I'm butt ugly, but maybe a little prettier than that. This is her video. So, Christine, as you say how horrible my videos are and how horrible my voice is, I'm trying to learn from you. Okay. I'm trying to learn from you. What a nose. What are you doing? Is there, okay, music, so I must still have, okay, let's see here. Oh. When you're... I hear your voice. She has no voice, she just sits there with her mouth open like that? With her nose like that? She says, sleepy, sleepy, I can't fall asleep. I'm supposed to learn from this, Christine. You want to, and you tell me how much you hate my shit. Come on. I mean, and for those of you who like me, may this be a lesson. I've not shown you my ugly ass yet. I told you at 10,000 I would show you my wedding picture. So, when I get 10,000 subscribers, I will show you my wedding picture. And I'll let you guys see me then. You'll have to shield your eyes. But I can tell you I look better than her. So when you are having a horrible day and somebody's been insulting you and you can't see what they look like, remember our grandmothers always said, consider the source. Well, for those of you who like me, this is the one who's been picking on me about my voice and stuff. I put the comments that from this channel that she's done, I put the comments on my community page so you can see the things that she's written. So she did it like 5 months ago, and then that. So she's been at me about my voice for 5 months. And I finally gave her the attention she so desired after her comment today. And so I like to see things as learning opportunities. And if somebody, has a channel that, they're doing something that they feel like I could do better by learning from them, I don't mind, if they, because I have a lot to learn. But when you're coming at me looking like this and this is your quality of video, no, no, no. I I'm not I'm not seeing what I'm supposed to learn from you, and I don't hear your voice. You have a music thing on, but I don't even. Did you properly license that video? That music? Did you do that? Huh? How can you have that music there? And then let's see her other video, because out while away. Oh shit! I bumped out of her. Maybe we'll just ignore her for now on. Well, we'll just ignore her. And then let me see. Well, maybe not. Okay. Let me see. So here is my thing, and I have, as you guys are seeing over here, let me see. I don't know how to get that over. I've got, I'm getting so many dislikes. So 97, what is that? Like, I don't know. You can't see. But I get a lot of dislikes too, but it's fine because it's likes versus dislikes, however that goes. I'm getting a lot of comments on this video, as you can see. And I want to talk to you guys about that because I need to explain something. So let me get out of creator here. Go back over to here. Look at me. I've got 239 videos. Um, she'd been trailing me since I started. She started saying things on my Watts videos she didn't like, and now I see if she's on this roasting true crime, she must be hearing something and getting a big idea. But I've done 239 videos, so I'm a little further than her. My channel, I explain a little bit more in depth here. She has 18 views. I have 156,131 views because you guys are all freaking amazing. So to her 18, I have just a little more. And to her two videos, I've got 239. What? How many? She had 18 subs. I've got 1,633 of you amazing people and a couple of twats. And then I did some of my little backstory here. I'll probably need to change it now that I'm really not doing much in the Watts realm. I feel like I did everything I could with the Watts. I mean, I think that every once in a while I will go back and kind of update just on little things that I've seen. But as I went through and read the discovery as I can see it, when a creator comes up with something that is new and added that I can really point in the direction and give a nod to, I do, as you guys have seen, because I really like how Dave delves into Dollgate. You'd have to know the Watts thing if you know what I'm talking about, Dollgate. He found some things in the discovery that I am not going to say anything different than what the discovery copy that I have is, because of the way that I want to argue that issue and the way that I would argue it in the courtroom. There's a point behind it. But the way that I've laid it out, that if and when Christopher Watts wants to, and here you go, here's what got me in trouble before. If and when Christopher Watts wants to grab onto his balls and stand up and say that he no longer wants to be behind bars, he can and should, in my opinion, file, and he can definitely have a trial. I have proven it. It is in my videos. If you're ever bored and want to listen to all things Watts, it's all there. It's pretty. I did this too. If you guys can see over here, they started doing this where you can do the podcast. And so I put together a lot of these so that it's easy to just listen from one to the next. So if you wanted to sleep well, you put this on. If you want to sleep really well, you put this one on where I've got all of my Watts videos. Well, all of the Discovery. I don't think I put, yeah, I didn't because I've got these other ones here, and so the Rusick versus Watts, some of that case the Rusicks put a $6 million judgment against Chris Watts. Yet media would have you believe that the Watts are the greedy ones. So that's why that's worded that way. You'll have to listen if you ever want to. Um, and I've done some of this. So these are playlists that you can just put on, and they should just go one to the next. And if they don't do that, let me know. Now, for my content on Michelle and ETN, everything is together. There are 26 videos here. And
let's try out Urban Decay's 24/7 inks liquid liners. All you gotta do is shake to activate, and the ergonomic grip and precise tip gives you an easy and smooth application.
Oh, I kind of like that eyeliner. I'm really liking. I got this eyeliner from Marshalls. Right now they have a bunch of stuff in, um, because of Mother's Day. So I got this eyeliner. I think it's from Smashbox. I think it's a Smashbox one. It really works nice, and it's waterproof because my eyes will just tear and tear and tear from allergies. And I learned a trick that if you want your eyeliner to stay on, make it oil proof as well, because your eyelids always are a little bit oily. So you put a primer on. So put a really good primer and just put it, right there on your lash line. If you don't want to do the whole eyeshadow and all of that stuff, because I really don't. I just put a little bit of primer on my lid and where I would like to line, and I put on this. Pretty sure it's Smashbox. I'll have to take a picture of it for you guys. I got it for $10. It was normally $28, and it works. It did not move at all at the concert. So this playlist here shows all of the videos that I've done. I don't know if some people don't know that they're there or not. And some people might jump in and think that I don't know what I think is what's going on, because I really was vocal about the fact that ETN is the victim, that although he's a man, he is a victim of domestic violence. I have consistently said that. Now, as you guys listen to the way that I have covered the Watts case and what I have laid out, I have earned the right to say that I believe that Christopher Watts is also a male victim of domestic violence. Domestic violence is an equal opportunity offender. It doesn't matter if you are rich or poor. It doesn't matter if you're female or male or gender not specified. Domestic violence can happen across the board. So for as long as I've been doing these, I had updated some of Penelope's videos because she was getting so much hate that it was not fair to her, and I wanted to stand with the truth. And so I updated some of Penelope's videos, and of course that is, I've inherited all the hate for it. Um, I did these because, well, this one is, I sourced this video, so I sourced some videos myself, and then I updated some of Penelope's to the proper situation. And I believe that in all of those 26 before here, I spoke correctly and honorably to him as the victim. In my video that I did 2 days ago, I used much stronger wording about ETN because I believe it is time. In my stronger language, I said straight up, like I've just said, and I'm explaining why I said it. I said that ETN needs to step up, find his balls and whatever else, and report those guns as stolen. He needs to stand the F up and do it. Okay? So I am getting some heat on it, and I'm going to show you in one comment because it gives a good talking point about how I feel and why I've said what I've said and how I feel that I have earned the right in covering all aspects of this, and I've earned the right to say with stronger language so that maybe he'll get the message. The time is now. Because if he does not act and he does not get those guns out, there is a risk to the public at large, as there always has been, with her being around a handgun. Of course to him, but definitely to law enforcement. To herself, possibly. I feel that she is disordered enough, and the way that in every channel that she's made, she puts a little joke in there and says that these channels are her Mexican standoff. What would a Mexican standoff be? When I think of a Mexican standoff, I think of, okay, what, like an Old West standoff? Where, what, I don't know, where you have a Mexican cowboy and an American cowboy, and they each take 10 steps. I don't know. Here, you know what? I'm going to Google it. I'm going to Google Mexican standoff. I mean, at this point, look at this as we're talking, you and I are talking. Look at how freaking horrible it is what she did to him. Putting that cement. If you have not watched my videos, please do. What she did to him is disgusting, and I don't mean to minimize that at all. But he is safe, and when you are safe, it is your duty to make sure that others remain safe. Let me see here. Oh, goodness sakes. Here we go. Here we go. Google Mexican standoff. Oh, what do you know? Well, here we go. Now I will put this on my community page as well. Okay, a Mexican standoff is a confrontation where no strategy exists that allows any party to achieve victory. Oh, shit. I might have just stumbled upon something here. Okay. So in every channel that she puts this. She puts this that she's doing this as a Mexican standoff. You can see it usually like where it says description of title of channel, whatever, right? Well, I guess I haven't seen every single channel that she's created. I do apologize. But I've seen it enough to see that it's consistent, and this is what she's talking about. Every single situation involves guns, and this is my problem. So, a Mexican standoff is a confrontation where no strategy exists that allows any party to achieve victory. Any party initiating aggression might trigger their own demise. At the same time, the parties are unable to extract themselves from the situation without suffering a loss. Okay? That's what she's putting. That is why my language is very strong right now about ETN finding his frickin' balls that Michelle extricated and put them back and stand the up and call. If that sheriff continues to not do whatever he's not doing, ETN cannot stop there. He needs to call the ATF. We can call and report our concerns until we have no voice left, which we don't. Unless and until ETN reports those guns as stolen, they are in her hands. He has known that. Those are his guns. He left them with her. He had to do that for safety. Now, he did leave her when she was out of town. He should have taken those guns with him. Those guns are in his name. I've been nice. I've been respectful of everything until my language 2 days ago where I'm saying this. I'm getting called out, I know, because there is another creator that is not liked who was very insensitive about domestic violence as a whole. And she got called out for it. So I think that some people who hear something and something else and they go back and forth and they don't understand and they don't know me as a creator, they don't know the whole situation, then they're coming at me for that. I have been a victim of domestic violence. I witnessed it as a child. I myself have been a victim. And then I myself have been an advocate. And I can say from victim and advocate, there is a point when you are safe, everybody is safe, that yeah, it's time to stand the F up and speak out to make sure that no law enforcement is killed in the line of fire and no innocent child is killed by those guns getting in the wrong hands. Michelle is vindictive. Michelle brags about her gang connections. Michelle is desperate for money. She will sell those guns for $5 and they'll be in the hands of gang members. And they're going to have ETN's name registered to that gun. Whatever those gang members do, ETN has co-signed by owning those guns and not reporting them stolen. Why report them as stolen? Because they're in her possession right now. She does not have those registered in her name. Those guns are in his name. Oh, there she is, walking all over ETN professionally. Like I say, does she not look like frickin'? Does she not look like the wick? Okay, look at this. Look at this right here. Okay, do you guys remember in the Wizard of Oz? And the witch came and she took Toto. She stole Toto from Dorothy. And she's on the bicycle. Insert a little bicycle here. Okay? And then the storm's going. Remember the Wicked Witch of the West? Look at her. That if you were in a lineup and they were like, "Can you tell me if that's the one that took Toto?" Dorothy, is that the witch that took Toto? And Dorothy be like, "Yes. Yes, Auntie M. Yes, that is the one." Okay, look at, I'm not even kidding. Now, people keep saying, this witch, and then I keep saying, well, she keeps pulling the house off of her because she survives. But she uses her flying monkeys. Honestly, you pay good money to go and see a concert, right? Celebrate the. Oh, well, this is the I think this is where the Godsmack concert, right? This is in the documentary Celebrate the Chaos. So she says it's her documentary. Yeah, she's in it for a couple of minutes, right? Right. Look at her. All of these people have to stop watching the concert to go and help this shit show because this is her idea of crowd surfing. ETN laying flat like this with all of these people holding ETN up flat like this. Well, then she walks on him, surfs his body as she calls it. Is this not... I mean, come on. That is not what crowd surfing is about. She wanted to get all of the attention of all of those people there. That's what that is. Okay? I just look at her and I'm like, my precious. My precious. Look at her now, like that, and see that, and think of the Wicked Witch. And see, I can do all kinds of things with my voice. Christine Elizabeth. I can. I can do anything I want with my voice. So, anywho, the time is now. Get those fucking guns away from this monster. And review all of the videos that I have done. Let's see here. Oh, did you guys like the community thing where I did the ring? I mean, somebody wanted her ring more than mine. I mean, I think it might have been Christine Elizabeth. I think so. So then we're going to come over here. Got to close this out. And this is where I want to talk about. Let's go to my videos. And let's go down here. Why is she wearing this? Let me see here. Okay. I also want to touch on this. B. Rando told me to, because I asked for the details and what happened with Best of Truth's YouTube, Lisa, the good Lisa, not Lisa Cummins, what happened. And B. Rando said 2 different men went to Lisa's house later that night. A man went to where Lisa's 19-year-old daughter was working, and on her way to her vehicle, a man grabbed her. Thanks to a bouncer who was keeping an eye on her, he came to her rescue. So glad her daughter is doing better now. This is what Michelle did. This is what she can do because she has money, because idiots gave her money, and it's around the time when she gets paid for alimony, SSI, our tax dollars hard at work, because that's the kind of things our tax dollars are supporting, right? Right. She had somebody find a creator's daughter and had a man go and physically grab her. What does Lisa Cunt think now? Is she co-signing that still? She thinking that that's great? Because that's what she did. Well, she wants to say, everybody be nice to Michelle. Back off. This girl's going through a divorce. I mean, come on. Just, all I'm saying, is go make your money and everything, but just to back it up a little bit, okay? Michelle's, this girl's going through a divorce and, and she's losing her house. And if anything happens to this girl, it's on you. That isn't a girl. It's a grown-ass woman who does evil-ass things, and it's about time that she's called for everything she's ever fucking done. And any time that the community comes and does what they should, if there's any community, if there's even the most primal of communities, if they had a feral Michelle in their proximity, they would shun her for her behavior. And unless she shaped the fuck up, she would not be allowed to be with the group. That's what is going on here, is that we are calling out her horrible, abhorrent behavior because it is dangerous. She had a man go for somebody's daughter. How do you feel about that, Lisa Cunt? Oh, she's doing better. I'm really working on her. Look at, she's doing better. Is that better? Well, you're sitting there making everybody come off of her and feel sorry for her. She did that. Betcha she did that with the Cash App money that you've been giving her, Lisa Cunt. Lisa C word. So anyway, I'm working on something. I think that I might have a solution to, not a solution, but some information to add to that. So don't worry, I'm working it. And then let's see here. Thank you. You guys are so sweet to me. Look at all the love you guys give me. I love all of you. Let me see here. I was trying to find. Let's, thank you all for the love. Now, Woodstock here. I was going to talk to you about this too. Okay. So Woodstock says, regarding the guns, she's been in a mental hospital. You're not allowed to own or be around a gun after being 5150. If Michelle was to try and buy a gun, she would be denied. Exactly, and that is my point, is that Michelle cannot own a handgun herself. These guns are in ETN's name. So, like I say, I've been very respectful. I've been very kind. I've been very, very much an advocate to show that males can be victims too. And he is an absolute victim. And I do believe that I am the first creator, if you look back at the dates, where I started coming out and saying that he is a veteran. And no veteran will go down being falsely accused on my watch. I have been the one who has shown all of these things. So I do believe that I have earned the right to now speak more strongly so that maybe he hears the message. And you know what, if he hears it this bad way, and and it comes from Michelle telling him, oh, that bitch Tabitha Jane says that you don't have balls or a dick, and she says that, and maybe that'll make ETN go and be like, why is this Tabitha Jane saying that I don't have a nut sack? Like, what is her problem? Maybe it will cue him in to look at my video, and he'll hear and he'll be like, well, that's not very nice. That's not very nice to talk about me like that. But maybe it will cue him in to freaking do this before somebody gets killed. I will give other examples. Don't worry. This is going to be a long one, folks. Now, SD answered and said, depends on what for and how long it's been. There have been changes recently. I have been 5150'd slash TDO'd for self deletion attempts, and I can own one now, but I can't have a CCP. I've been 14 years without any incidents now. Now, Tammy Hall, thanked her first and said, grow with love, sweetheart. And I said this too. I said, thank you for choosing life, my friend. There will be a point when I can talk more about some other things, but as May is Mental Health Awareness Month, SD, I know that you may have, well, I don't know that you've heard, but I also survived my own suicide. I'm not supposed to say that word, right? I didn't know back then that there were other chapters of my life to be led that had joy. I had only had chapters that were more painful, and each day brought more pain. But look at the life that I have now. Well, you can't see it. I'm not doing very good here. But please know that I am thankful that you are choosing to stay with us. And I would love for you to reach out to me at any time. But especially if you ever need somebody to talk to. Choosing life is the answer. It really is. And there is some satisfaction of fighting your mind that wants to not go another day and making it another day. Before you know it, you have days where you haven't thought of that. That does happen. It takes a lot of work and reaching out and asking for help and taking that help. And I'm so happy that you've been 14 years without any incidents. And thank you for your candor. Now, in both of these comments, where Michelle lives, based on her history of discharging that firearm, the threats that she's made and continues to make, I don't understand why she is not 5150'd each and every time. So we don't know if she actually has been in a mental hospital. I believe that there is enough on record of her threatening to hurt herself, not only from what we have seen, but in the past, that she could not obtain a firearm. That's why I don't think that she can at all. That's why all of these firearms are in ETN's name. She said that he left them behind because she had to shoot pregnant armadillos. Well, that's not nice to the armadillos. Why does she need to shoot pregnant armadillos? Why does she think that she needs to stop them? I don't know if there's another way, but just like how she is disgusting and inhumane with the bats, there's got to be a more humane way of dealing with armadillos than to wait till they're pregnant and then go and shoot them and have Michelle look at them too. I mean, the poor things. Imagine that being the last face you ever saw. I mean, honest to God. Animal cruelty laws don't apply to armadillos. What the hell? Anyway. Michelle has these guns. Long ago and far away, when she started her channel, she was freaking displaying them on a regular basis. Oh, freaking talking smack like she's freaking Annie Oakley with her armory. And these are not rifles, guys. These are little handguns. No, she cannot have a concealed carry permit. It doesn't bother her. When she is talking about going to these YouTube events and trying to lure the keyboard warriors there, the next statements are filled with how she's bringing her guns. And she's talking about how she travels with her guns, that she has to keep her artillery separate and her guns there, and she has them. She talks about how she's done this, and she talks about how she's going to these meet and greets with her guns ready. As I've said, she keeps using the word Mexican standoff, which I just defined. This is what's going through her mind. This is why I'm mad. This is why I'm saying this is enough. This is why I'm saying, ETN, thank you for your service. I've honored you. I've always spoken respectfully of you. But 2 nights ago, I changed my wording and went stronger in an effort to get your attention, because the time is now to get those guns away from her. Now, we're going to go down here. I agree. When Rat City Princess said that she's amazed that this woman is still walking the streets, she needs to be 5150. I have never seen it. As I've told you, as I've absolutely told you guys, it doesn't take anything in my state to get 5150. Hugs also explained this. It says in the divorce case, ETN will always be the petitioner and her the respondent. The divorce is closed, so she is now a petitioner for an action of contempt on the respondent. She said, I recall some verbiage on their divorce that she could not rent in the Airbnb and not 100% sure. So the home is not zoned for a Airbnb. She wanted to do that because she wanted to become Molly. She saw Molly as this woman who was making all of this money. It, Molly was never there showing a strong marriage. And I know that everybody's going to come for me because talking about Molly, oh God, I know that there's all the Molly Sims and everything, but please stop. There's just so much. Okay, just stop. If you love Molly, that's wonderful. Continue to support her in whichever way you are, but this is my channel. And I feel strongly about some of the actions in which Molly has done. And if Molly were sitting across the table from me, she would admit what she's done. There's no question about what she's done. She wouldn't even question what she's done. I don't support it as a creator, as a woman, as a wife, come on. Get the fuck off me about Molly. But anyway, Molly did not show that she was united with a man working and investing in her marriage. Therefore, somebody who is very, very impressionable, like Michelle, saw her in this house looking like a single woman, being able to sit there with a channel and talk at people all day and get money while you're sitting there talking and making money by having Airbnbs. That's what Michelle thought she could do. She then thought that she could plop her ass down, pop pills, drink all day, and make a lot of money. Well, she did all of that, didn't she? Huh. But she couldn't do the Airbnb. Uh, there has to be proper zoning for that in your home. There's requirements to do that, especially to be able to advertise as such. It's a process. And she didn't have the process, and she wouldn't have had a license and everything else. Oh, and also for, when I said that she had never been an adjuster and I had to eat my words, and I did that as I was shown her adjuster license. I also did get information and screenshots that her license, that yes, she did have one, but it was shortly thereafter revoked by the security. What do you call it? SEC, Security Exchange Commission. It said SEC on it, so they must have had a complaint. I don't know. Could you imagine her settling your stuff right now? If she did, I can imagine they have a whole freaking class action. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Oh, there's Christine Elizabeth. What the actual fuck? So then, see, people here, you guys, unless there are 3 people who, don't like me on this one, when you see something like this is a hater. So she's trying to start this bullshit here. So the thumbs up here, those are, give it another. um, she's not responding to that. She's doing that because, like I say, we can show other comments we see here. Ah, it's not showing it. Darn it. You can see what they've contributed to your channel, and it'll show you all of the comments that somebody has done on your channel, and you can see that she's the one who continues to do that. So anyway, oh my God, I'm sorry. I thought it was going right there. Oh shit. Sorry, guys. Go here. Not in create. I want to just be in regular. Oh my God, what's going on?
In a scorching hot world, where the only refuge is in the comfort of your own home, there is only one thing you can...
It has been scorching hot. There we go. Okay, so here is the problem, and I'm going to show you how this is shaping up. So truth, I don't know truth. I don't know I don't know truth. I don't know the truth. Okay. So, truth said, and truth, I don't know you, so I don't know if you meant this in a way different than it was. I took it in a way that it shows that you don't know where I'm coming from, and that's offensive to me. So I'm going to tell. So this is what truth said in regard to what I said about ETN needing to find his balls and get with the program and report those guns as stolen so that law enforcement or any other person does not get killed or those guns do not get in the wrong hands and another 2-year-old is killed by gang warfare. Goes like this. So truth says, although I agree with most of what you are saying, period. However, you are missing that just because Michelle's ex is a veteran and a man. Sentence. And then a little sentence says, he is a victim of abuse. Okay. Have I not stated that in the 26 freaking videos that I have done? I am the one who said that he is a veteran. I am the one who has pointed out that he's a victim. Why are you telling me that? And then where it says here, although I agree with most of what you're saying, and then you just put a period there, that doesn't matter. You obviously don't agree because then you do that. So this is a really tough comment that I really don't like. I'm not missing that just because Michelle's ex is a veteran and a man. I don't understand that sentence. And then you put, he is a victim of abuse. What the fuck why do you think I don't know that? Again, I don't know if you are new to my channel and you don't know the 26 videos that I put out previously. That could very well be the problem. I would think that that's the issue because I'm not the one to come at about this. Because then she says to me, you would not be telling a woman to grow her balls back and stop that abuser, to stop them from doing the turd that Michelle is doing online. Okay? I actually would say grow your ovaries back. And once you are safe and whatnot, yeah, if you left your husband with a bunch of your guns and it is now a year and you're safe and you're waiting for your husband with all of your guns to sit there and have a Mexican standoff with the guns in your name, I would say to my best friend, I would say to myself in the mirror, I would say to my daughter or otherwise, stand the fuck up, get your ovaries, and get on that phone and report those guns as stolen before an innocent law enforcement officer is killed in a Mexican standoff, or those guns are given to a gang member and a 2-year-old is shot. Yeah, I would say that. This is being irresponsible to let those guns remain in her hands when all she wants to do is put ETN behind bars with a fake truth. Did you see the video that I did showing about how she was trying to set him up with the gate code and I'm the one who exposed her sober coin as not being a sober coin and showed that it was a 24-hour coin instead of the 14? Truth, I just don't know that you've seen my content enough to understand where I'm coming from, and this is probably just something that maybe somebody else could really benefit from this knowledge, but I actually know it, and I just I love constructive feedback, but from Christine Elizabeth and you, it's just not the day. And I'm just really not okay with this comment right here. Uh, and so she's telling me off here. She goes on to say, yes, he should have gotten the guns back and should have made sure she had no access to them, period. But again, you are putting the fact that her, E, is a man in front of his safety. No, I'm fucking not. He has been living back with his mom for over a year in another state, several states over. He is safe. He is working every day in his line of work, which was the same line of work she tried to copy so that she could keep him in a house and work online together and look at each other all day and never leave the fucking house. But the man got smart and got out. So no, I am not stupid. He is safe. He's been safe for over a year. It is time for him to report those guns as stolen. She has the mindset that that home is hers. I don't even want to speak the words of what I think she's going to do to that house because other people are thinking it too. You know how some of those people are like, if I can't have you, nobody can? That's her mindset. That is a person with nothing to lose. Michelle is a person with nothing to lose, and you never fuck with somebody who has nothing to lose because they have everything to gain by doing something stupid, which she's going to do. She's predictable, if nothing else. So again, Truth is lecturing me here saying, like him not pressing charges when she shot at him. Okay, no. I did state that after she shot him in the living room and he went up and barricaded himself and called for help, that is a man who's been in military. He's of the age where he was probably in Desert Storm, so you can say foreign war, right? This is a man who was trained. I have done 26 videos. I have talked about ETN's behavior and how he did everything to never engage with her. When and if he decided that his best move was to go and barricade himself, I did say that he was wrong in coming out and saying, she had a bad day. She needs her medication. Let me get her medication and let's take her to the ER. Bullshit. It is my opinion that he had that opportunity once the officers, probably the freaking whole ass SWAT team. Well, yeah, she headbutted the lieutenants several times and scratched and bit the EMTs. ETN was safe once those police were there. Once those police had her, they probably gave her a freaking Thorazine drip in the ER. It is my opinion that ETN did not speak up strong enough at that point. Because if he would have spoken up and said, look, she tried to frickin' kill me. I'm scared for my life. I believe that she would have been placed inpatient and might have gotten help. But to say that she had a bad day and needs her medication, I understand Stockholm Syndrome. I really, really do. I understand being a victim of abuse. I really, really do. But we're not talking about a bad day where, you know what, you spilled your frickin' salad all over everything and your dress is dirty. That's having a bad day and you stepped in a pile of dog crap. No, when you shoot, and those are his guns. She's using his guns. Michelle was not Annie Oakley. She did not come from a competitive shooting family that goes out on the green and shoots at pheasants. She has no history with guns. She's not taken a conceal and carry class, or she would not have cut her hand on the back kick. I can't think of the word. What is it called? Back? I don't know. When I went through my class, I was taught how to stand, how to hold, everything else. And like I said, I could pierce somebody's ear with a bullet. A really good shot. Because I paid really good attention when I went through my training. Because that's what responsible people do. And they don't shoot at their husbands in their house. Yes, when the SWAT team was there, I believe that he should have spoken stronger language and said something other than she's having a bad day. Maybe he was so smitten then, sure. Okay? And yes, I understand domestic violence, and I can understand that. But the woman also killed his dog and everything else that she said, and I'm not going to go into it. But before you come for me, please, watch the 26 videos I've done previously, and then see if I've missed anything else. And then allow me that I have done my time. I have earned the right to now speak strongly and say, it is time. It is beyond time for ETN to report those guns as stolen. He is safe. But we'll go to the next sentence. The question is, if his situation was reversed, would you be telling Michelle that she should get the guns back and grow her balls back? Yeah, I would. If the situation was reversed and Michelle was going to get her house back and there was a man in the frickin' house and the guns in the house were registered to her name and she was safe with her mom in several states over and going to get her house back, you better believe I would say that. Of course I would. What the hell would be wrong with me if I wouldn't? I'd say, grow your ovaries back, stand up, call the ATF. If the sheriff in town won't do anything, which you have to understand exactly how many times the sheriff was called back and forth for their little games back and forth, because yes, ETN is a victim. Yes, but he also has the money, the means, and the brains to have an attorney speak and act for him in a manner which keeps everybody safe. And if it was reversed and it was Michelle in there, absolutely, I would be saying the same thing. Especially then. And then you say, just wonder because domestic abuse has no gender. Again, please, the Watts videos that I've done, the other videos I've done, I have probably been one of the foremost creators out here giving credence to the fact that domestic violence happens to men. That is what I've done since day one. That's, God, you don't know me. And then you say, that is just my opinion, but that being said, I do enjoy watch your videos. Okay? And then you say, I just find it odd people tend to forget Michelle's ex is a domestic abuse victim, whether it's physical, mental, or verbal abuse. Okay. If you enjoy watch my videos, which ones have you seen? Because you know that if you've watched one or two of them, you know that I do not ever speak this strongly about a victim of domestic violence, especially a man. I get called of being a freaking Chris Watts lover and everything else all the time because people won't even consider that. And especially the mental. That's what I've explained. I've explained ad nauseum about how this is. Anyway. And then you say, but because he's a man, it needs to step up and stop because she's small. I'm also not saying he should be held accountable for not taking the guns when he left so she didn't have access to them. Okay, the video that I did where I showed with the cement in his hair, honey, I don't know what you're talking about. I love that you want to have a discussion, but you came off at me where you're insulting me and you're insulting my content as a creator. Well, I appreciate that if somebody was just walking by and they heard that, they could take that in out of text and think that I'm insensitive. I will take that lesson and I thank you. And I'm going to leave it at that. And then we're going to go here to the replies. Because I did say here, because I was in passing and I saw it, I said, would you please go back to my first videos? I said, I am the first creator to state that ETN is a victim. I am the first to do videos citing ETN as a veteran. However, he is safe now and needs to report the guns as stolen, as he has allowed Farrell to hold his balls in a jar for too long, as those guns are registered in his name and it's only a matter of time before she shoots at him again. Okay? And then I'm a very kind person here, and I put the playlist there so that it's easy to find, because this is where all of the 26 videos are previous to that, and I put that up there. I said I put my 26 videos here so that you can see the first 25 or so do not state for ETN to act in a manner that ensures the safety of himself and others. I said, you need to ask yourself who gave those guns to Farrell. And he did. And he left them with her. I said, how many people are going to feel sorry for ETN when another policeman or woman does not make it home to their family because of someone like Michelle playing stupid games? I said I would never disrespect any victim of domestic violence, male or female. However, when the victim is safe, they need to continue to ensure the safety of others is considered. And that I wrote. And if you still do not understand how strongly I feel about men being recognized as victims of domestic violence, please glean in on some of my other videos. This is something I feel very strongly about. I really do. I really feel strongly about it. So, with that being said, I would like to talk about a couple of things and why I feel the way I do. Once again, I'm really concerned about her wording with the Mexican standoff. I think I think that she will always tell on herself. And that's the takeaway here. One of the things here, so what's in our news right now that's trending very, very strongly. Oh God, Stillwater woman was killed by a garbage truck. She was trying to deliver cookies to the driver. Oh God. That's terrible. That's not what I was going to, but God, that's terrible. Okay, so what's going on in our community, our state, is that this police officer, this sweet lady, Deputy Katie Leasing. Okay, man authorities say killed Deputy Katie Leasing had a criminal conviction in Washington County. So she was just shot down by this man, and so it's really on my mind. We have a terrible gun problem here in Minnesota. Um, Terrible. You really can't do much without hearing about guns. And you really, well, you know what? Hold on. Hold that thought. Let me get to here and I will tell you about that. Let's see here. We're going to go here. Um, so in Stillwater, so that's kind of, I think that's south of me. It says the man authorities say shot and killed a Wisconsin deputy over the weekend was on supervised release for a previous conviction at the time. So Stillwater, I guess, must be right over the border of Wisconsin. So I was thinking it was more in Minnesota, but I guess it's right over the border. And it says Jeremiah Johnson, 34, was convicted of charges of kidnapping and criminal sexual conduct in Washington County in 2015. Authorities said Johnson shot 29-year-old St. Croix deputy Katie Leasing Saturday night while she tried to administer a field sobriety test to him. He then fled into the woods and died by suicide. Okay? This is all over my headlines. This deputy was doing everything right. She pulled him over and was trying to do a field sobriety test. He shot her, and then he ran into the woods and committed suicide. Do you see why I'm speaking strongly about ETN getting those guns? Do you see that it is time? Do you see that he is safe? How many times does Michelle drive drunk? Do you think she's not going to go and drive drunk in these next few weeks? Do you think she's not going to go and drive drunk, and if a cop goes and pulls her over to do something, she might not do something like this? She has nothing to lose. She's dangerous. She has nothing to lose. If it comes down to that she's going to get another DUI and she's losing the house, she's lost everything, you think she isn't going to do something stupid like this? There's no telling what she's going to do. My wording is strong to ETN. He is safe now. He is safe. He can call the ATF, if the sheriffs are not listening, those guns need to be removed now. This young deputy had everything. Her whole life in front of her. She was 29. And because he knew that another DUI would do him in, he did that. According to a criminal complaint in July of 2015, police were dispatched to Edgerton Street and Case Avenue in Stillwater after a caller reported seeing an intoxicated woman laying on the sidewalk. The caller tried to give aid to the woman when Johnson allegedly picked the woman off the street and drove away in his truck. That's what this kind of guy was. That's what his former conviction was. So, police located the woman in front of Johnson's residence. The woman reported that she woke up on an air mattress in her underwear next to a guy she didn't know. Johnson admitted to sexual misconduct with the woman and was arrested on 3 felony counts. In 2015, a judge signed an order that required Johnson to surrender his guns and not live in a home with guns present. Johnson has had additional previous convictions for violating an order of protection, a DWI, being a public nuisance, as well as a number of driving violations. He was released from prison in 2019. So, who didn't follow up on the guns in his house? Does it matter? Does it matter? No, the guns shouldn't have been there, and somebody knew that those guns were there. Does any of that matter? Is that going to bring that deputy home? Michelle has a criminogenic past that involves similar convictions. She knows she's up against a wall. She's dangerous. Somebody knew those guns were in that house, and somebody knew that that man shouldn't have had them. He did not legally have that gun. Why was that deputy killed? Because somebody did not say the right thing. The police cannot go and just go and search everybody's house that isn't supposed to be around a gun or have guns. They can't do that because of all of the protections that are there for people like this piece of shit. There's a lot of nice numbers here. I like that. I like that they attached all of those. Now let me see here. If I go here, I go here, I go back up here. Let me see this. What if I do... Okay. And so let's see. This was last June. So a year ago. June 22nd, 2022. A 30-hour standoff involving Wright County Sheriff's deputies and a suspect carrying a rifle came to an end when authorities stormed the home in St. Michael, Minnesota on Wednesday night. So, some of you have a favorite creator named Katie Joy, and she said that she was affected by this. The way I chose when I was going to be affected by this, I took the back roads, took my kids, and we headed up to Canada. We didn't get to Canada. We got up to Duluth, and there's this incredible place. If you're ever up in the Great Lakes area, there's this place, Google it, called Betty's Pies. Oh my God, they're the best freaking pies. Ugh. So our whole town was in this literal standoff because this man was not supposed to have guns. Okay? Well, his wife was getting them. His wife was getting them off Craigslist, off of anything else. I live in the suburbs, in the sticks. And you could see and hear this chaos coming from miles away. The SWAT team from several cities, SWAT teams from several cities were over. And they were talking on those loudspeakers. If you've ever seen the Handmaid's Tale, it sounded like that, just that constant, cop talk. You could hear it. It was like the voice of God over you. And all of the flashing things, right? Within 5 minutes, I connected to how many friends that, live right over there, and I knew exactly what's going on. So this piece of shit dad had his kids and his wife held as hostages in the house. Well, she knew damn well he wasn't supposed to have guns. She knew damn well he wasn't legally supposed to have them. But she didn't want him to, be upset or anything. He really liked his guns. So she'd buy them. You'd see her on, I mean, honestly, I had friends, as soon as I put out a couple feelers out it, I had friends showing me their Facebook posts and whatnot, where whenever they'd put up somebody's, grandpa's rifle or whatever on Facebook Marketplace, she was the first, she was like, hey, I'll come right over and get it. At least one of their children was severely autistic. I don't think that they got, I think he's still in prison, and I think that the kids were taken away. This was a huge thing. My point is that people who are not supposed to have guns are not supposed to be around guns because they do these things. ETN is not in that home. He is safe. He is several states over. It has been a year. He could have and should have said something. And maybe he has. And maybe he's washed his hands of it. Maybe he's got it well documented that he's reported those as stolen, and so if anything happens, but that's not going to bring somebody's loved one home. And this one here. So this one, here we are in the middle of nowhere in the Midwest, and we've got, this huge freaking standoff. And let's see here. So there we go. If you guys want to look this up, you just put in St. Michael, Minnesota standoff, and you'll get all of it. So it says a 30-hour standoff involving Wright County Sheriff's deputies and a suspect carrying a rifle came to an end when authorities stormed the home in St. Michael, Minnesota on Wednesday night. This is nowhere close to being true of what actually was happening because we knew exactly. It says the standoff began after the sheriff's office received a complaint that a man and a woman were verbally arguing and the man was carrying a rifle. So, yeah, they had gotten in a domestic abuse incident and they were in the yard and he came after her. So she'd been getting all these guns. And I know right now somebody can say, hey, look, she could have been under duress. She could have been under this and blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, she just loved getting these guns from him because if you see the Facebook exchanges, she's like, I'm going to come right over. I'm going to come right over with cash. If she's going and leaving the house and getting cash, she could have called the sheriffs and said, holy shit. And she was alone with the kids every once in a while. So yes, she could have. And he had quite the arsenal. And I think he had explosives too. I mean, our whole town could have been leveled. I mean, this is what's going on in middle America. The sheriff's office said it received the gun complaint at 12:37 a.m. on Tuesday regarding a domestic situation. So yeah, it was in the night. The residents that remained under surveillance. Oh, the residents then remained under surveillance until emergency response units arrived at approximately 2:50 p.m. on Tuesday. Authorities were on the scene into Wednesday night, according to sheriff's office. Police identified the suspect as 39-year-old Brandon Gardis. He has active arrest warrants for domestic assault and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, according to the sheriff's office. Okay, so they knew that he had that in there and they had not acted on it. So, has ETN reported these and the sheriff's hasn't? If the sheriff isn't acting, call the ATF. Call the attorney general and tell him that the sheriff is broken. The standoff came to an end at approximately 8:30 p.m. Wednesday after law enforcement entered Gardis' home. Gardis shot Gardis upon entering the residence. Police said, "Yeah." So, like I say, I took the kids all the way up. We were just bordering Canada, and then we were coming home, and we saw the chopper coming. We're like going, all those cops are over there, and this chopper's coming. What are they gonna do? And yeah, the chopper was there first. Then you heard the gunshots. Then you saw the EMS bringing the ambulance over to the flight and then up. So they put the chopper down. They were going in. They were done because literally this whole town had been under siege for going into 3 days. It says he was airlifted in the hospital. His condition is unknown. No police officers were injured, and that is the big thing because no officers were hurt. Nobody other than him was hurt, and that was the great thing. The officers did an amazing job. Many cities worked together with their SWAT teams. And it says Gardis filed several rounds at law enforcement during the standoff. Now, this was the problem because we could hear the gunfire. We could hear him shooting at the frickin' cops. And they didn't shoot back. And it just continued on. It was like every so often, you'd hear pop, 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 pop. Well, like I say, a few times of hearing that, I ordered the kids in my vehicle. We're taking a ride. We're going to go get Betty's Pies. Like I say, I'm going to go to the border of frickin' Canada and sneak on over if I had to. Like, my town is under siege. I'm not... Nope. Nope, not going to stick around. It says police said the area surrounding the home will remain secured for investigative purposes and asked the public to stay away from that area. Earlier Wednesday, police had told the people in the immediate vicinity of the home to evacuate due to the volatile nature of the incident and said they rerouted several roads in the area for public safety. Oh no, they had our whole freaking town shut down. I'm not kidding you. I mean, now, let me see here. Let me see if they say it before I say it. No, they don't. Okay. So the backstory was he had a cabinet business, kitchen cabinet, like woodworking. And pandemic bankrupted him. He didn't have any more money. He was losing the house to foreclosure. The stress was too much. Summer, the kids are home. Like I said, the one is very autistic. I think a behavior issue and autistic. I don't know if I'm saying that right because I'm not being insensitive. I'm just saying that the kid needed a lot of help. It was like 24/7, and was there two kids? So he was bankrupt. She's a victim of domestic violence. He's crazy, but she keeps going and buying him guns. She didn't report to anybody that he had a freaking arsenal in there, that he was basically, like I've referred to what I feel Michelle's going to do, or Ruby Ridge. He had explosives. He had everything in there. And like I say, he would just sit there and every so often come out and shoot at the cops. They did not shoot back. I mean, it was surreal to be sitting here in the middle of the Midwest, where, you know, I moved away from the West Coast to raise my kids, so I didn't hear that kind of stuff. And you just hear this and that, you hear this, and then every so often, boom, 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 boom. And you could just see this slew of law enforcement. Yeah. Do I blame her? No, I don't blame her. I feel that she could have said, oh, somebody beat me to it. You know, these Facebook sales go. Instead of, you know, working the sale to go and get any and every gun is the second that it went up for sale on the Facebook groups and getting them for him. Of all places, my husband and I were going to an Amy Grant concert. Now it's downtown St. Paul, Minneapolis. They're very close. They're sister cities. So when I say one, sometimes I'm saying interchangeably. So we get in. We were right in the front of the line. And sorry guys, I'm gonna have to, well, I can leave it here for a second. Not very many people were behind us, but you know, me and my little overactive bladder. We're at the front of the line and we get in, and I go to the bathroom, and the bathrooms were downstairs. So the theaters downtown are very old. They were built at the turn of the century. They're very historic, very beautiful. The bathrooms are downstairs. So I went downstairs in this, you know, scary area to the bathrooms. My husband stayed up and he was getting merchandise. And all of a sudden I hear like all of this like kind of commotion. You know, as I'm downstairs, I hear this and I hear people screaming and crying. And I'm going, what is going on? You know, did Amy Grant just go through there and they're overwhelmed with emotion? Did something happen? Is there a fight? What happened, right? And I come up and like there's just this huge crowd. And this one lady is over against the wall and she's just crying. And this other lady's on the other side and she's crying too. I'm like, oh, they must have just gotten in a big fight. So I went over to the one lady and offered her, I have these facial cooling cloths. Because, you know, when I get hot, as I always do, I went over to her and I was like, oh, are you having a panic attack? You know, would you like one of those? She's like, yeah, thank you. And I'm like, okay. And then, you know, my husband, you know, comes up to me and he thinks I know. And I'm like, what happened? Did they get in a fight? He's like, what? What? It's like, you know, what? You know, it was like we were all standing there in shock. Yeah, gang members had just went down and randomly shot at everybody in the crowd there standing in line at the Amy Grant concert. So security acted wonderfully by all reports because I was down peeing in the basement. And they just went whoom, and just threw everybody in line inside the buildings and just got down and locked the doors so that then the shooters couldn't come out or come in after anybody. And they had a policeman stationed there, and there were police right outside when we walked in, and there were police on either block when we came in. So, there was like 5 police cars that I saw within, and then that's normal right down there. So they didn't care. They don't care. The gang members go back and forth up the streets. If they see somebody that is on the wrong side of the road, if wearing the colors they don't say what, however, what if they see somebody that they've green lighted, which means somebody killed, whatever, they don't care. So even if you're going down to an Amy Grant concert in middle America in the heartland, you're risking being shot. Now, do you think that those guys were going and getting those guns legally? Do you think that those gang members who shot it, the little old lady who was 80 years old, she fully peed on her pants. She fully pissed. The gunman, by all accounts, locked eyes with that 80-year-old. She thought that she was done. How do you think they got those guns? They get them from stealing. They get them from pawn shops. They get them from people like Michelle, who need money cash fast. They get them from people like Michelle, who have nothing to lose. They get them from people like Michelle, who want to have a Mexican standoff. Time is now. My language was strong. It is because this is a call to action. And it means stand up, speak up, get those fucking guns away from Michelle. If the sheriff's department has not done their due diligence in getting those firearms, then you have to escalate it, and you have to let the Attorney General know. You have to let the ATF know. You have to let the FBI know. You have to speak strong language, and you have to say, she's threatening a Mexican standoff, which means, by definition, lest we ever forget, means a confrontation where no strategy exists that allows any party to achieve victory. Any party initiating aggression might trigger their own demise. At the same time, the parties are unable to extract themselves from the situation without suffering a loss. When Michelle writes these things, pay attention. Is she mentally ill? Is she dumb? Or is she sly like a fox and she plays everybody for everything? I think the latter. And she's only tough when she thinks she has those guns. Have to be taken. So if my strong language in this situation has offended enough people that I'm being called out, well, it's being called out so that I'm heard. And I hope that my 26 videos regarding ETN matter, in which I have been very sensitive to him being a victim of domestic violence. I don't know him. I'm not getting anything out of doing these videos other than hoping for the right thing to be done so that in the end, everybody comes out safe and alive. That is my goal. You don't know how much hate I get for just trying to stand up for the right thing. Thank you so much for the love that you give me. There are reasons why Penelope has to have all of her comments turned off. When you speak up about Michelle, her enablers, her flying monkeys, wreak havoc on you. You have to say that the people who defend her see something of themselves in her. And it's scary how many people are like her and see themselves in her and enable her. What if Lisa's daughter wouldn't have had the wherewithal to say to somebody else, hey, I have a threat against my safety. Will you watch me? Because she was obviously targeted. by Michelle sending somebody to do harm to somebody's daughter? What the fuck? What kind of mother? She has a daughter. This is not the actions of a mother. This is why she had her children taken away. She has not 1 ounce of empathy. She is a stone cold sociopath. Most humans live to impart wisdom so that others live a better life from the knowledge that they are sharing. That is what we are here for. Most humans want that. The ones that don't are a threat to us all. She is a threat to the public safety at large. There is a reason and a context in why I said what I did. I know the bigger picture. I understand the bigger picture. Please, I understand and I respect that people have opinions. And that's why every single person who is a subscriber and can comment can make their own channel and do their own videos and put themselves out here and consider what it's like to be out here. And, I get questioned on why I don't show my face. Look at how hard I'm dragged for my voice alone. Do you know what they'll do to me for my looks? I do. It's not easy speaking up and standing up for the truth. But it has to be done so that the greater good will win. We have to believe that. We have to believe that in the end, the right thing is done. I have never seen a person as cold and cruel, sadistic and vindictive as is Feral Michelle. She is a public threat. She is no different than COVID. I spoke one night about the situation in which an acquaintance had sent her unaliving letter to her parents, who contacted me as they were in a different area, a different state, and they showed me through Facebook message what she had just said. She was in the process of unaliving her 2 daughters and was going to unalive herself because her husband had left. I live in a city that doesn't have its own police department. So these people calling from the other state about their daughter doing this, who just moved to this area, they didn't understand that when they were trying to call the St. Michael Police Department, it doesn't exist. So they reached out as fast as they could and said, please. She's killing our grandchildren right now. Please help. We have a sheriff's department which oversees several of these small cities and suburbs. And they're badass. They're the ones who took down that whole standoff. And as I am a friend to law enforcement, And I respect law enforcement. I appreciate them, and I want them to come home to their families. When I called, I told them that I knew that there were handguns in that house and that they needed the SWAT team, and they did. They brought frickin' the SWAT team from two other counties within minutes. Okay? The little girls were saved, and they've never been alone with their mother again. Everybody came out alive. In that situation, other situations that I work, I do that because I want a better world than the headlines I see. I'm using my voice as much as it irritates others for the greater good. And I hope that the greater good does happen out of the situation where this terrible, vile bitch has pitted creator against creator. The social media platform has been turned upside down in chaos. The tears, the lies, the threats, the doxing, the hurt, the private lives and safety of how many have been threatened, all because Michelle got what she thought was a cute YouTube channel. How is this going to end? As she says, the Mexican standoff. Like I read, where nobody wins. If I started a fire and now I'm under fire because I was insensitive with my language about a victim who is safe, who needs to do the right thing, please forgive me for my insensitivity and look at the whole picture and why I have said it. I don't want to turn my comments off. I like hearing from you. But until and unless you've seen that I have seriously done something, that overlooked something, stop criticizing me so much and stop sending me so much hate. I've had about enough. For all of you that send me love, you have no idea how much of a difference it makes. Thank you for all of the love that you continue to send me. And I'll continue to send you the love back with pictures of lilacs, with little videos of where I go. And in the meantime, ETN, I hope that you hear. And if you hear it because she goes and complains and thinks that you're going to come after me, well, get those guns away from her. Thank you for listening. I shall talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.